Hello everyone. In this segment, I'm going to introduce device number 1. This module is designed for high power output and stable performance. Before using it, always make sure the power supply input is correct and that the positive and negative terminals are connected properly. Once power is applied, the cooling fan and internal protection circuits will automatically activate. This device contains large capacitors and a high-efficiency power stage, allowing it to deliver strong output power. Up to around 1000 watts depending on the supply. To test it, simply connect your power input, secure your load, and slowly increase the power while monitoring temperature and noise. If you notice unusual heat, smell, or sound, stop immediately and disconnect the supply. As long as you keep the unit clean and ensure proper airflow for the fan, device number 1 will run smoothly and remain stable over long-term use. This is the essential introduction to how device number 1 works. Part 2, 2 minutes, detailed usage instructions for device number 1. Now let's go into more detail for device number 1. Step 1. Inspect the board and confirm that the input and output terminals are correctly aligned with positive and negative marks. Step 2. Connect your power source and the load. This could be a speaker, motor, or any high-power device. Make sure the ground wiring is secure. Step 3. If your model includes control knobs or adjustment points, increase the settings slowly. This prevents sudden current spikes and helps you observe the behavior of the load. Step 4. Check the cooling system. Make sure the fan spins freely and there's no obstruction around the heat sink. Step 5. Once operating, monitor current draw, output voltage, and temperature around the capacitors and transistors. Step 6. Always follow safety rules. This board may include relays or built-in protection, but you should never overload it beyond its designed wattage. Following these steps ensures device number 1 performs safely, reliably, and efficiently. Part 3, 2 minutes, overview and function of device number 2. Let's move on to device number 2. This board looks like a control module, likely a relay board meant for switching, timing, or protecting a larger power system. Unlike device number 1, this board is not designed to deliver high power directly. Instead, it acts as a controller that turns power on or off, adds safety, or manages trigger signals. First, connect the input and output terminals correctly. Most relay boards require a low-voltage trigger signal to activate the relay, which then controls the high-power circuit. This makes it useful for powering device number 1 on and off safely or protecting it from sudden surges. In real use, you would connect a fuse before the relay, set your trigger mode, active high or active low, and let the board automate the switching. It's perfect for safety shut-off, timing control, or preventing overload, but it cannot replace a power amplifier or converter. Part 4, 4 minutes, comparison and which one is better for 1000 W use. Now let's compare these two devices and find out which one is better for real-world use, especially when both are rated for around 1000 watts. One, purpose and power handling. Device number 1 is a true high-power module. It has a heat sink, cooling fan, large capacitors, and heavy-duty components. It is meant to deliver strong electrical output to your load. Device number 2 is a relay/control module. It is not made to handle 1000 W directly. Its purpose is controlling, switching, or protecting another device, not powering the load by itself. 2. Safety and protection. At 1000 W, device number 1 needs serious cooling and thermal protection, which it already includes. Device number 2 adds extra safety features by allowing you to disconnect or control the power line. It's good for automation but not for powering the load directly. 3. Reliability and performance. Device number 1 will handle high current, high heat, and heavy load. This is its main job. Device number 2 increases safety but cannot sustain heavy current on its own. It works best together with device number 1. 4. Ease of use. If you need strong output, operational stability, and real 1000 W performance, device number 1 is the better choice. If you want control features, automatic on, off, safety shutdown, or remote activation, device number 2 is a great accessory. Final recommendation. If your goal is pure power and high performance, device number 1 is the better and more suitable module. If your goal is safety control and switching automation, device number 2 is useful, but only as a supporting device, not a replacement. Now that we've compared both devices, let me give you some final, real-world advice. No matter which module you choose, always make sure your power supply is stable and rated properly. A strong device can only perform at its best when it receives clean, consistent input power. For high-power projects around 1000 watts, heat management is extremely important. Make sure your cooling fans are clean, the heat sinks have airflow, and the wiring is thick enough to handle high current. Poor wiring can cause voltage drops, overheating, or even damage. Another important tip is to always test your system step by step. Start with low power, monitor temperature, then slowly increase the load. This prevents sudden failure and helps you catch problems early. Finally, remember this. Device number 1 is your main power engine, and device number 2 is your controller and safety manager. When used together, they create a more reliable and efficient system. So choose based on what your project needs. And always prioritize safety first.